Western Pal News.
Okay, folks. So as we said, thank you very much for sitting through that little bit of sad news we had for you. What we're going to talk about now is the current affairs, or as Peter says, the
Western Pal News.
Wait, Peter, the mic mightn't have picked that up. Go again. Once more.
Western Pal News.
There we go. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about the kind of rarities that have turned up in Ireland and in the Western Palearctic. We'll do Ireland first, lads, Willie, because there's been some significant birds over the last week or two that we haven't mentioned on the podcast. The first one that I think is you cannot start a section like this without mentioning all words petrol. That was seen off Kerry last week on a Sea Watch. I mean, that's a fantastic record. How many of them have been seen, Brian, in the country?
One
Right.
off. The only Irish record was off Galley Head, which Paul Moore found, and Dennis O'Sullivan and Alec Jeffries saw
Fantastic.
too. So
It's
that's the only
funny.
accepted record.
Yeah, it's funny because there had been one previously accepted, I think, off Cape
Yeah,
a long time ago.
1970 or something.
Yeah, and it was taken off the Irish list, and it was only shortly after it was taken off the Irish list the lads found one on was it Galley Head?
Galley, yeah. I think it was the first. It was the 1st of August, 2013, or something.
So this one is the first.
It's been a great week for sea watching because the sea watching was really good in Spain as well, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, there's a sea watching location in northwest Spain, and today and yesterday they had yesterday they had Barolo Shearwater, or the Spanish singer Barolo. they've had a couple of
Brian, what do they look like? What do those Barolo Shearwaters look like? Oh, hello, boy. Yeah, fair enough.
That's painted by Rob Vaughan.
Who painted it, Brian?
Rob Vaughan.
Oh, very good. Nice plug for the mate there. I like that. You could have said it a bit more enthusiastically, but anyway, all right. Who painted it? Rob Vaughan. But anyway, let's keep going. So tell us more about your Spanish news.
Yeah, so what would be proper rarities in Ireland in Fia's Petrel and Barolo Shearwater? Mm-hmm. They were well down the ladder compared to what else they got. So they had yellow-nosed albatross, the first Western Palearctic great winged petrel, and they also had 2 South Polar skuas, which is unbelievable in one day. So,
which would probably be the second and third record for Ireland, anyway, wouldn't it? If the South Polar skuas, there's only ever been one accepted, and that's even in Irish waters.
I think that's going to be an at-sea record. Yeah, so,
that's out of Irish waters. That's like. To put it in context for some of the people who don't do too much sea watching, we've never had really a from land record of South Polar skua, so that's a mega rare bird. They had 2 of them in one day, and the yellow nosed albatross, and they had something else, Brian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, great winged petrel,
which
is a pterodroma.
Yeah. How do you spell that?
PTA.
Hey, that's the point.
PTA Roma.
I must say, that's the first I'm hearing of a great winged petrel. I didn't know what it was even.
Yeah, I think it shows you too. Like with seabirds, like I think as someone pointed out in our comments last week, anything really is possible when it comes to seabirds. If short-tailed shearwater can turn up an Australian species, then more or less anything can turn up.
I would agree. Look, I'm going to go out on a limb here, folks, but out of all those birds, the one that I would like to see would be the albatross, and that's true of any seabird. The birds that I want to see an albatross. Those are just absolutely fantastic. When you're talking about
especially you'd wonder, there was a yellow-nosed albatross off Portugal recently, so you'd wonder, is that the same one?
Crazy. In terms of an Irish context, you're talking albatross, you're talking about black-browed. There have been
but yellow nose has turned up in Britain as well.
That's right.
Okay.
And was it Sweden?
It was a bit controversial, I think, as far as I can remember. It was taken into care, and it was nursed back to health, and then it was released secretly from some headland. And there was a lot of twitchers who didn't get an opportunity to see it, would have liked to see it.
Yeah, that's gutting. That'll be gutting. But yeah, I tell you,
I think I might have the country wrong. I think then the same bird was seen off Sweden then. So
Okay.
I think that was summer 2007 now.
So
Imagine.
it's certainly a possibility from the Bridges or from Cape
Oh, definitely, yeah.
from Galley Head.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing an albatross in Sea Watch, lads. Would not be just fantastic. There's only been like 4 or 5 records, I believe, of Blackbird in Ireland, wouldn't there be?
No, I think it's well into double figures now.
Is it?
Yeah,
Jeez.
it is definitely, yeah.
It's not too bad. And then the only other species that has been reported here would be wandering. I believe there's a report of from a year.
There was a
or two.
report of France, wasn't it? I think is there an accepted record from France? I think of wandering,
No, well,
or maybe that was binned. I can't remember.
I'm not too sure, but there was definitely a report from Cork as well, from a whale watching trip. The skipper described a wandering albatross.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you never know.
I don't think that made it on the official list, John.
No.
Possibly not. Yeah, we leave that there. We get in an awful lot of trouble when we start talking about records. We created quite a bit of a kerfuffle last week, folks, by bringing up short-tailed shearwater, and somebody in the podcast said the word poo-pooed. I didn't say it, and I don't remember saying it, but the controversy that it caused is unbelievable. We had to go on record and say that we feel the record in question should be re-examined by the IRBC. So, please,
Yeah,
we want to stay out of this political realm. Okay, we don't want to.
I did the poo-pooing.
You did the poo-pooing. So in between serenading us, you were poo-pooing. Fantastic. So that's pretty much. No, it's not. There was a Shrike record as well, Brian, in the Western.
Oh yeah.
Turkmenistan.
A young lad, Dante Shepherd, found a Turkestan Shrike on North Ron, which is an island off Scotland.
Which is the second ever since that species has been split, I believe, is it?
I think it was the second since it's been split by the IOC, yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
Is he working up there, Brian?
I think he's up there for a month or a couple of months anyway. He's there for the entire autumn, I think. So.
He's working on the observatory, is he?
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah.
That's not the first thing Dante found.
No, I think he did that last year as well, yeah.
Yeah,
he's seeing good birds.
Yeah, that found good birds, yeah. Very much so. So in terms of Western Pal news, I believe that's kind of the big hitters covered. Bringing it back to an Irish context, the Yanks have started to arrive. So we've had 2 or 3 buff-breasted sandpipers throughout the country, mostly in Tecumseh, I believe. We've had Leicester Yellowlegs, which is another American wader as well, show up. And then we've had some cool things like common rose.
Hex sand past the bridges.
Yeah. Pectoral sandpiper, that's right. Another American bird.
Yeah. And I think not an American bird, but the other kind of rarity that was found was common rosefinch and great saltee.
Yeah.
That's right, common rosefinch, yeah.
Anything else, guys? Am I missing anything?
Saltee. No, there's been a few pied flycatchers which would be common in Europe, but this far west in Europe, they're a good sign of migration, I think. Once birds like common rosefinch and yellow wagtail start turning up in Ireland, it's time to turn your thoughts towards the headlands and looking for rare passerines.
Yeah, because I think Britain has had greenish warblers, and I think they had a booted warbler today and things like that. So it's the perfect time of year for those kind of species.
Mm-hmm. And just when Peter's mentioning talking about headlands and stuff like that, I'm maybe getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but that'll be our next big vlog. It'll be the 3 of us making a headland in the coming week or 2. That's what I like. I much prefer that to Sea Watching. Brian,
let's get our first vlog done first.
We'll not get ahead of ourselves. But I think that's what number 2 or number 3 will be. That's in 2 or 3 weeks. Before that, Brian, you and the other spunk birders are heading to Tecumseh, I believe, or is?
Yeah, I am myself, Cahill, Fork, and Keane Cardiff, and Joe Proudfoot.
Yes, and you call yourself the spunk birders, I believe, to emphasise the S and not infringe on any trademarked Twitter handles or websites for any liability at all. So yes, emphasise the S, okay? But these are going over to do what?
We're going to go to Tecumseh for a couple of days, and try to find as many American waders as we can. So
that's fantastic, and I think
hopefully
it's a great time of year to be going to Tecumseh, Brian. September.
September's definitely the best month. The last couple of years, it started off myself and Kean went the first year, and then Carl Forkin and Joe Proudfoot joined us, and we've seen and found some great American waders. So, like, I think in over 2 years we've either seen birds which were already there or found. We've had American golden plover, buff-breasted sandpiper, semi-palmated sandpiper, numerous pecks, almost double figures a peck. What else have we had? We've seen great white egret and things like that. So it's been really good.
Very good. And Peter and I might take a run down some weekend to join you, will we? What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, I know I'm in contact with Jer, so the camper's been taken out
the
of
lamper and the camper.
Yeah.
And we might be joining you down there, Brian, for a day or two, so we'll look forward to that.
Yeah. We'll try to get out before us.
Yeah, of course. Well, you guys usually sleep into about 11 anyway, so we'll see what happens. Okay, folks, look, I think we're going to end it there. This has been very much an impromptu episode. We just tried to fill the gap between episode 2 and our upcoming vlog, and we hope we've done so in an informative, if somewhat negative, but hopefully entertaining manner. So we hope you enjoyed that, folks. Take care, and until next time, stay classy.